Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning brief. My name is Janis, your host, and I received an amazing question via email yesterday, late afternoon, and I thought it was a great topic of discussion, and I would love to answer it for you. So the question was, what exactly is a VA? So a VA, as we all know, is a virtual assistant. And a VA is a self-employed worker who specializes in offering administrative type of services to clients from a remote location. Typically, obviously, I'm in my home office. So, for instance, I have clients from California, really from all over the United States, and in different time zones too. So that's always a challenge. And sometimes I can be time zone challenged. But the other part of that is what type of responsibilities they ask do VAs do. Now, obviously, every VA is very different, but some typical things that VAs do is respond to emails, schedule meetings, market research, content planning, content graphics, content repurpose. There's so many different projects, and it really depends on the client that you are working with. For instance, one of my clients in California, she's a postpartum doula. So I think I may have mentioned this before. Now, obviously, I know what a postpartum doula is. I had my son 35 years ago. Actually, his birthday was yesterday. So happy birthday again to Ryan. So what she would want and what I did for her was different from my other client who is in business management and those type of things. So what specifically do I do? Again, everyone is very different. It, number one, depends on the industry that you are in. And some other considerations that you may want to think of is, I'm all about the list, right? Is writing down, if you're the person looking to hire a VA, is to write down the things that you just don't have time to do. So I mentioned, for instance, email management, calendar management. There is just so many different things, right? So specifically what I do is I've kind of generalized what I do, because if I said, oh, I'm a VA and I list out 50 things, like that's just, it doesn't work that way for me, and it wouldn't work that way for you. So a virtual assistant, what I do is content planning. I draft the graphics. I do a lot of market research, and the list goes on. And I'm not going to bore you with all the different things, but those are some type of things that I do. Creative project management, content repurpose, ghostwriting, more in-depth, and it could be very sensitive type of research. A lot of times, for instance, when I work with different lawyers, what I do is highly confidential. So it's categorizing medical records, preparing the spreadsheet. So it's very, what I mean by creative project management, it's a very detail oriented and a time consuming type of project. And obviously, I'm a podcast host. I love podcasting. That's no secret. And I host 3 different podcasts. One, of course, that I host with my sister. And we just celebrated our 500th episode 2 days ago, which is pretty amazing. That's a lot of chit chat. And of course, podcast manager services. Again, those are general terms, and each for me means something very different. Now, one thing that I don't do are build funnels. That is something that I do want to learn how to do. And I certainly have been trying, but I actually hired that out. And so that are just to give you a brief overview of what a VA specifically is and some of the responsibilities that a VA does. Now, I am in an amazing Facebook group of VAs, and I'm actually one of the Facebook moderators. And I had a great discussion yesterday with one of my other VA moderators in that group. And, you know, we absolutely love what we do. And one thing that she had mentioned to me, and she's been a VA for probably about the same amount of time as I have been, a little over 3. Actually, I'm coming up on 3 or 4 years, something like that. In any event, what she said to me is, I never thought that I would be in a position, she did some research, on different things that she can do. And of course, virtual assistant kept on popping up. And so she sat down and wrote out a list of the things that she knows that she's an expert at. We are experts in what we know, and how that would apply to perhaps clients that she could serve. But there was a fear there. And I want to talk about that fear for the moment, because a virtual assistant, you may think that, oh my gosh, there are too many VAs out there. How am I going to, establish myself as a VA? How am I going to get clients? There's so much involved with that. And I know that, I've certainly made mistakes along the way. But what I have found is that there is so much work out there. There's more than enough work to go around. So if you are thinking about becoming a VA, don't let that stop you. Start with your lists. And I've often chatted about making your lists. Write down specifically what you are good at, what you are an expert at, the things that you're not good at. For me, it's building a funnel. And boy, I know I got to get on that one, but too many things going on right now, right? But, be honest with yourself, know that whatever you have to offer out there, somebody is looking for it, right? So the next question that pops up a lot, of course, is, well, what types of things, what type of applications should I have? And what I see happening a lot of times is that a VA who is starting out buys all this stuff. And I'm certainly guilty of that. A few things that I bought that now I wish I hadn't. But the point being, start out simplified, because, for instance, you can use Canva. They have a free version. You can use all sorts of different applications to start your business in such a way. And of course, when your business starts picking up steam and you're at that point where, okay, now I need to upgrade Canva, then you do that. And that's what I ended up doing, because I was not well versed in Canva. I still do not consider myself a pro, but I know how to get stuff done in Canva. I know how to design. I absolutely love it. And, and I get really excited when I talk about creating things. I mean, I love doing that for other people. And, to do that, to work in a field that I love to do, to be helping other entrepreneurs, to show them what is possible, how to navigate around some of these different apps. Because a lot of times clients want to learn that as well. And I walk them through that process. Now, granted, they still say, nah, I can't be bothered with this. You just go ahead and do it. And that's okay. That is certainly okay. But it's important for the client as well to know just the little backdrop story of how those things work, in case for whatever reason an emergency comes up. And, thankfully, I thought of that process before my son's accident. And I was well ahead, of course, of all of my different projects. So the process of notifying my clients, obviously, that was a benefit for me that I had, we prepare for the inevitable with some things, and, life happens, right? So if you are looking for a VA, you certainly know who to contact. But, ask those questions, create and have your list first. When you hop on that consultation call with a prospective VA, make sure that you have those lists ready and ask them specifically, hey, do you do email management, calendar management, whatever you are looking for? Those are important questions to ask. And if you asked me, can you put this funnel together for me? No, I can't. But I know VAs who can certainly do that for you. And for me, that's what it's all about. It's providing the information, providing valuable information that you can use to make the best decision for yourself, because hiring a VA can be kind of a daunting process, because I like to think for myself that we like to be on top of every single thing that we do. And obviously in my profession, I have to be. But for an entrepreneur who's looking to hire a VA, they want the trust, they want the loyalty, as they so well deserve. And I'm able to provide that in such a manner to not only be there as their support, but I am a representative of that person, and I take that very seriously. So today's discussion is, what is a VA? And we've talked about exactly what is a VA and different types of responsibilities that a VA handles. So I want to welcome all of my listeners on the Wisdom audio app. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to hop on this morning, and was wondering, any of my listeners, if you have any questions for me on different types of services that I provide, or just a question in general. Maybe it's about digital management. And speaking of digital management, I'm kind of a dork. I freely admit it when it comes to that sort of stuff. In fact, I just got done recording my introduction to this audio summit that I will be a part of in September. So I'm really excited about that. The first recording, I will tell you, was a little over an hour. And I thought to myself, I don't think I want somebody listening to me babble on for an hour about digital filing and how, we should be doing, the digital storage and, that sort of thing. So when I went back to listen to it, and, I am very critical of the type of work that I put out. And I was like, okay, I've got some great points here on, email management and how that's important, obviously, in digital storage, but it was too much information. So instead of 60 minutes, I got it down to 22 minutes. And it was really, when you're doing that type of a service or doing that type of recording for a different summit, my point was to make sure that I was giving the most valuable information that I would be looking for, that I was looking for at one point, and how that affects your daily, not only your daily life and your personal life, but of course your business life. So again, I want to welcome everybody to the Wisdom discussion this morning on what is a VA, the different responsibilities, the different types of jobs that VAs can do. And would welcome the opportunity for any one of my listeners to come up and ask a question. And I'll give it just another moment here. I'm just going to take a quick sip here. So welcome everyone. The morning brief, which I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it on, but I got it done. You know, I love being a part of the Wisdom audio app, and I've often chatted about this as well. It's a great way to showcase what you are passionate about and share with other entrepreneurs and other listeners. And I love listening in as well too. I'm fortunately going to miss Daryl's 11 a.m. Office hours. I have a client meeting at 11, but I definitely will be listening to the replay. And how cool is that? The other thing for a VA is to, you know, show up, of course, on social media and show up live on your Facebook page. And here I am, you know, simulcasting through the Wisdom audio app while I am live on my Facebook page. And I had a fear of going on live by myself. I know that sounds very odd. You know, seeing, of course, as my sister and I just completed 500 episodes the other day. And, you know, so why would I be afraid of being on video by myself? Don't know. It's just something that's always been there. I don't know why. Maybe because I was on with someone else that it felt more comfortable. But I've been dedicated to that process. And as much as I chat about, you know, funnels and, you know, I don't know how to do a funnel, but I can certainly go live on my Facebook page while I'm broadcasting live on the Wisdom audio app. So sometimes multitasking does come into play. The thing I do caution with multitasking with other VAs that I chat with, of course, and my clients is you have to know where you left off. If, you know, we all plan on doing, let's say we plan on doing A through D in the morning, but something pops up and maybe we complete A, we start B, and then we have to go all the way to Z because maybe an emergency popped up. Well, you have to remember that you have to go back to where you started from. So yes, it can be a juggling act. I like juggling in a different way because obviously being in the legal field, I was a paralegal for about 30 years, started out as a receptionist and worked myself up to a legal secretary and then a paralegal. And I was often put into that position of multitasking. And I am glad that I had the opportunity to be a paralegal because I think that really shaped my business ethics, if you will, on what I like to do, what I don't like to do, what I'm good at. And, you know, being able to multitask. I don't suggest multitasking all the time, but sometimes in life, those things do happen. So welcome everyone again to the morning brief. My name is Janis, your host, and I see some familiar names. So thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate your time in doing so. And I'm just going to give it another minute. I welcome the opportunity for one of my listeners to come up and join me and let's have that chat. You know, if you have any questions about what a VA does, maybe you have a different project that you need a little insight in on, let's have that discussion. So I will be back on the Wisdom app at 2:00 this afternoon for the Stories That Inspire Us podcast. And I will also be recording live to the Stories That Inspire Us with Janis Facebook page. My guest on this afternoon is Carolyn Farrick, and she actually lives not far from my son. So I'm excited to have this conversation with her. and she is a podcast host herself. And, you just got to tune in and, hear that stories podcast. Gosh, I absolutely love what I do. I feel so blessed and grateful. And okay, just double checking everything here. Hey, I want to thank you everyone for being here today. Being able to come to a community to share what I'm passionate about, to hopefully add some value, maybe give you some golden nuggets to think about. For me, that's what it's all about. Connection, collaboration, and adding value. That's kind of important to me. My name is Janis Malillo, the host of The Morning Brief. And remember, if you have a story to share, it is that important to share it. You need to share it because somebody out there needs your advice and needs to hear what you're passionate about. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'll see you later today. Bye for now. Hey, everyone on Facebook. Thank you so much for being here today. I always love providing value in such a way, like I said, where maybe you're able to take different parts of that and, spread the wealth, so to speak, create that ripple effect. My name is Janis, and if you have any questions, I would be happy to chat with you about the different services that I provide. And I will see you later at 2 p.m. this afternoon, as I said, on the Stories That Inspire Us Facebook page. Bye for now.